Yes, for sure. And not only that time, I forced the stabbings. And after that, of course, I was on medication. I was going through things mentally. Learning how to be a single mom was stressful. Dealing what I was dealing with my mom. Like, I was going through a lot mentally and physically. So with the medication I was given, it kind of just spiraled out of control. I ended up going to see a therapist as well. So the doctor I was dealing with for my pain medication cut me off one day, and we don't have as much information as we do now about it. Also, over the years, it's become harder to receive pain medication because doctors who are not knowledgeable in this field think everybody's drug seeking. And also, cutting somebody off cold turkey is not going to prevent them from becoming a drug addict. A lot of pain medication is addictive once you're on it for a certain amount of time, and you may just have an addictive personality. So what he should have done is wean me off the pain medication I was taking instead of just stopping me cold turkey, because that's when I learned to self-medicate. And once you start to do that, it's much harder to stop, and it's much easier to create an addiction. Not only was I dealing with that, but now we have the mental aspect. I started to see a therapist at a facility, and at the time I had Medicaid, so I could only go to certain places. So the company that was approved for the Medicaid to treat me ended up just being a fraud place, and the people that I was seeing didn't have the right licensing to be prescribing patients medication. So the medications I was given in turn made things worse. They really weren't diagnosing me or helping me with anything. And we know you're not going to complain because you're going to feel better after taking this stuff. So I developed a large addiction, and once I started, it was hard to stop because when I was taking it, not only was I physically addicted, I had no time to withdraw. I'm a single mother. I need to go to school, I need to go to work, I need to take care of her, I need to be on my game. So when I was using, it made my life easier in that aspect. You could stay awake much longer than you probably should. It just made life easier in terms of working and doing things I had to do and keep going to forget what had happened. I can't explain it. It's just when you become addicted to things, it makes you feel like on top of the world. You can accomplish anything. You have this confidence and you just forget everything bad. You're basically just numbing everything. So eventually that came to a halt. One day I got a bad bag of something, and I overdosed in my daughter's bed. I don't know why. Again, I don't know how this lady does this. She said she didn't hear anything and she was calling me for something. I wasn't answering her. So she came in my room to see what was going on, and that's when she found me blue in the face and on my daughter's bed. Now, if you're going to ask me, did I do it on purpose? I really don't know. I was at this point. I felt so low. I felt so ugly. I felt like my whole entire life I was gonna be working my life away and be so unhappy just to make minimum wage and be on welfare forever. I felt like people were gonna forever judge me and not like me because of what happened. I felt like my mom didn't like me half the time, and I felt like my daughter needed somebody better and she didn't deserve to I didn't deserve to be with her, and I felt like she would be better off in somebody else's hands who could give her a better life. Since I'm working so much and I'm really not emotionally there because I'm so numb, there came a point where she was a toddler and she didn't like me anymore. She was always with my grandma. She didn't want to come home to me. Kids know, she loved me, like I didn't hurt her or anything. I was just like not emotionally available for her. Like it wasn't very lovey all the time as it is now. I was also only 18, 19, 20 years old. Like I'm still figuring out myself and what those things mean and how to love myself, let alone having to learn how to love somebody else the right way and what affection means and how to show that. I always took care of her basic needs, and like we were fine. We had good moments. Like I wasn't a terrible mom. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. I was just working a lot and doing what I needed to do to take care of her. So she was with my grandma a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, at that age, on weekends or when I did have a minute, I would go out and go drink stupid stuff and waste time with people who don't even matter. So I was just so low. I'm just not sure how that happened. multiply that with a bad batch of something, and that was it. She found me blue in the face, called the cops, they Narcaned me once, it didn't work, did it again, and I came back. But a lot of people, it doesn't work, and I'm just so confused how I'm here, because we all don't get that second chance, but I am. So after that, I put it down. I started to get myself together, and eventually my mom ended up passing away, and I had to keep it together. I didn't really have anybody to lean on except my grandmom at that time, so I went to live with her for a little while. She helped me get on my feet, and then I got a little studio apartment. I was going to nursing school at this point. I was working. Everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, one day, I'm driving down the road on the highway, and some lady tries to cut across a 4-lane highway and make an illegal left turn, and got scared to go over the middle line, like the divider that divides the traffic going north and south. She stopped, and I was going about 40 miles an hour, something like that, and she stopped dead in front of me, and I hit her head on. At the last second, I was able to turn the wheel just a little bit to prevent that large of an impact coming directly to me, but I ended up breaking and spraining and hurting the right side of my body due to that impact, including breaking my femur. So now I'm at the hospital looking like this, and I have to go home. I have a kid I have to raise. I have to keep going. I had to relearn how to walk again. It was probably one of the hardest things I had to do in my life. Breaking your femur is the largest, strongest bone in your body. It's the worst break you can have. I could not work. I was living off of what I had, help from around me, and welfare for a while. I'm trying to hold it so you can see it, but you see the crack right there? Right in the middle. If you don't believe me. So eventually I had to have surgeries on my knee, that I had a metal rod put in for a while, and then I had it taken out because it made my leg really stiff. It was uncomfortable. That was a very hard recovery. That was a different kind of pain, breaking your femur. When I felt that snap, my car rolled off down to a hill into a parking lot, and I was just sitting there holding my leg, screaming in agony, like the loudest scream you would ever hear in your life. And no medication was helping that either until I got to the hospital. They were able to knock me out. I wasn't able to have surgery until 12 hours later or something crazy like that. So I was just laying there like that. And they gave me a pain medication, a hallucinogen to combat the pain and also make me feel like I was in another world, which helped. And same thing like we were talking about before, when you're in shock, you can die. So that wasn't your death experience. And then also when you break your femur, something about you could get a blood clot and die if you don't get to the hospital fast enough. Thank God for the guys across the street working at some dealership. This guy checked on me. He's like, hold on, baby. I got the cops coming. God bless him. Shout out to you. So knock on wood. Hopefully that's it for a while. I feel like the only near-death experience I've developed now in life is really just trying to get past mental stuff and have the mental strength to continue on each day as most of us do.